from 63rd, couldn't get back up.
Without sounding too crazy, you know, too policey or something like that, what do you think happened to FBG Duck?
I just think he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, you know, we at, like, fucking, when I got out the car, I had to piss. I ain't get out to go piss, like, naked. You know what I'm saying? I got Fat Shouty looking for me. We didn't have no cars behind us.
Even downtown?
We downtown.
The broad daylight Gold Coast murder of rapper FBG Duck in August 2020 involved 4 masked shooters who left 38 bullet casings behind following an attack that lasted all of 15 seconds, according to a newly unsealed federal court record. Much of what happened that day, at the murder scene on Oak Street and elsewhere as the gunman neared, was captured on video, according to the 45-page document, which includes an FBI affidavit. It lays out key evidence that led to last year's indictment against 5 alleged O-Block street gang members now accused in the brazen killing. It says investigators towed a car used in the shooting one day after it happened, later searched it and found evidence that implicated Charles C. Murda Liggins. The document also points to so-called diss tracks, the songs posted online in which street gang members disrespect rivals, fueling violence on the streets.
I don't recall it from my knowledge. Like, it just wasn't that deep, disrespecting no dead person. No.
Okay.
It's sad to say that Chief Keef made it popular. He made it, you know what I'm saying, by him saying it, he made it a truth.
The document, a search warrant application originally filed October 1st, was unsealed earlier this month. It sought a judge's permission to examine phone data associated with Liggins as well as Marcus Muwap Smart and to Carlos Offord. All 3 would be charged in an indictment filed September 30th, which also named Kenneth Robertson and Christopher C. Thang Thomas as defendants. The indictment was unsealed October 13th. FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, is identified in the document as a member of the Alot, or Tukaville, faction of the Gangster Disciples, which it said had feuded with OBLOCK, a faction of the Black Disciples. Weekly was killed at 4:26 p.m. on August 4, 2020, according to the affidavit. 16 minutes earlier on Oak Street, it said, Weekly got out of a car driven by his girlfriend and stood in a line outside. Weekly's mother has said he was shopping for a present for his son.
Yeah, buddy, it's the homie Truth Teller, the street reporter. And a lot of people always asking me about FBG Duck case. You know, I actually went to his crime scene to kind of get a little information and share that with you guys, because I thought that was crazy. You know, I think this time period in the culture is going to be a big time period, and I want to document it on my YouTube channel. So we came to Duck crime scene. I did that video. I actually going to put the link of that video in the description and in the comment section so you can go check it out. But I actually went to his crime scene to kind of get a feel of it. You know, a lot of people was asking me to do that. I actually got an opportunity to get my hand on some paperwork. I actually had an opportunity to talk to some people who was close to the situation. I had an opportunity to talk to some people who was actually around when that shit happened. When I looked into the paperwork, I actually looked into it deep. I actually listened to Duck Mama have an interview on Vlad TV. She spoke about Dose Cabana not being the first thing that happened to Duck. So I looked into the information and I noticed that a lot of people spoke on Duck going into a store called Milano's first when he noticed some fans walking there who wasn't really fans. They were the people trying to hurt him. We actually at Milano's right now, cameraman. If you can see, that's actually the boutique right there. It's actually in the basement. You know, they sell a lot of dope shit. When Duck died, it was a receipt in his pocket when he was gunned down. He had a receipt in his pocket for over $200. It showed that he bought a t-shirt and a pair of socks from out of this establishment right here. According to some of the witnesses and even his mama, some people walked in this store trying to take pictures. Duck, what's up? Can we take some pictures and shit? And, you know, he must have knew that that wasn't no fans. That was like that moment, you know. He actually asked somebody in here, can he go in the back? According to his mother and people who I talked to. Duck actually was so smart, according to someone I spoke with. They say that he actually warned some people, y'all be careful when y'all go out there, because some people out there on some crazy shit, right? He asked somebody in here, can he go in the back? And they told him no. I guess, you know, they got merchandise. He a gangbanger or whatever. They didn't want to be a part of anything. He actually left out of the store, drove around a little bit, I guess, after those people left and shit, and came back to the store, Dulce Cabana, which is actually down there. Actually, right down the street. Actually, not down the street, a couple buildings down. We're going to go down there again. But he went in here, and people came in here. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. He noticed the people who tried to kill him. You know, it was actually 2 cars that pulled up, 4 gunmen. You hear me? That's crazy. You feel me? Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 gunmen. A lot of people talk about the camera. Let's see. Can you get any cameraman? Do you see any cameras around here? What about? Look, oh, I spot one right across the street. See it? Right across the street. I see a camera there. I'm pretty sure that's right in front of this building. Because a lot of people ask me about that camera. So, we're gonna actually go in this store because I want to see what Duck seen when he went in this store. Give me a chance. There's people actually in that store watching, so you gotta try to sneak it in there. So give me an opportunity. It's the homie truth. This is the store that FBG Duck lost his life in. We're gonna go in here because I kind of want to see some of the things that Duck seen. Hopefully they let me film in here. How you doing? My cousin told me about this store. I wanted to come check it out. If that's okay. Pretty dope. This is dope. So I guess this is what he seen when he walked out the door. He walked out, you know. Think he noticed, looked both ways. He didn't see those guys who were acting like fans in the store anymore. I think that's the moment where he probably got in his car because they said he was parked across the street somewhere. He's parked across the street somewhere. I guess he got in his car, must have drove down here. Because I heard reports that he drove around the block. I'm not sure because Dulce Cabana is right here. So I believe that he must have just drove up a little bit. He got his socks and stuff because they found the receipt in his pocket. I guess he drove up some. As you can see, cameraman, show him this is a great neighborhood, cameraman. This is where all the Bears players live at, Oprah Winfrey, all kind of successful people come over down. And I guess, remember, it's his son's birthday. He's buying gifts. He comes to Dulce and Cabana. As you can see, we just left out that store. We had to cut the audio down. Because they didn't really want us recording, but he let us record. We just cut the audio down. This is actually Dulce Cabana. This is the store that FBG Duck went in when he was spotted. You clearly can see where that light pole is at right there. That's where Duck was on the ground fighting for his life at. He was hard bodied. He was shot a lot of times. The guy actually, we seen them fighting for his life, you know. That's very sad. This is actually a story, and I want to tell you guys something crazy. Duck was actually standing in line. He was actually standing in line because it was during the corona, you know. Let me tell you something that's crazy. He was actually standing in line, right? Because it's the corona going on right now. So, you know, you can't just come in, cameraman. You can't just walk right in. They was letting like 3-4 people in at a time due to the corona. Got to have your face mask on. So it was people lined up out there. Okay, and the shooters rolled past and seen Duck out here lined up. Okay, they never left. They must have been padding like either somewhere parked down here, like somewhere parked down here, cameraman. But they noticed him get in his car and ride off. He was standing in line. They let a few people in, let a girl, like 2 girls in. He was standing in line right here, and a car pulled up right here, right where that man walking in. A car pulled up right here, okay? 4 people bailed out the cars. 2 cars, 4 shooters. They gunned Duck down, okay? Right where those people are standing at right there is actually where his body was at. So, it's a sad situation, man. Like I say, I'm not sure if this case gonna get solved. There's plenty of cameras. Let's see. People ask me about the camera. I hear that a lot. You see up here. We got Chanel across the street. What about camera? I hear a lot of people say things about. I see one right there about fans leave for our bill. It's a camera. You see that camera? I see another camera right there. Okay, so it is cameras now. You know. So don't get it wrong. Duck murder was caught on camera. Now, you know, if people like this, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know who the shooters is, you know? You need somebody to say, hey, that guy who got his head down, that face mask over his face so you can't see, that's dude. That's dude. Until you able to get that, the smoking gun, an eyewitness, some testimony, some fingerprints, some DNA evidence, I believe it's going to be a hard case to solve. But the feds picked this case up because of how Duck died. You know, he died crazy. Kind of seemed like it hit. Seemed deeper than music. Kind of seemed like what they say, you know, maybe he had a...
Around the same time, surveillance footage showed Liggins, Smart and others running down a stairwell at Parkway Gardens at 63rd and Martin Luther King Drive. According to the affidavit, it said Smart and another person got into a Ford Fusion owned by Offord. The FBI believed Liggins got into a Chrysler 300 with two others, local. From there, investigators were able to trace the vehicle's path from Parkway Gardens to the scene of the murder, using video surveillance and police POD cameras. Around the time Weekly got out of the car on Oak Street, the feds say the Fusion and Chrysler were seen traveling in the same direction in the 6200 block of South Wentworth, just 5 seconds apart.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. John Somerville, SLM. ERVILLE for Mr. Offord.
Good afternoon, Mr. Somerville. Mr. Offord, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. We're scheduled for a detention hearing. The government ready to proceed.
The vehicles were spotted on camera in at least 7 additional locations. The document then lays out what happened at 4:26 p.m. in the first block of East Oak Street. The Fusion and Chrysler stopped just in front of the dark-colored sedan that had been driven by Weekly's girlfriend. 2 people jumped out of the passenger side of the Fusion and opened fire at Weekly, who ducked with another person behind his girlfriend's car. 2 people then also got out of the passenger side of the Chrysler. 1, the front passenger, opened fire on Weekly's girlfriend, while the other fired at Weekly. The shooters then got back into the Fusion and Chrysler and fled. According to the affidavit, it said Weekly's girlfriend was shot twice in the left wrist. The person who ducked behind the car with Weekly was shot 3 times and was left in critical condition. According to the feds, Weekly died shortly after the shooting. The FBI special agent who authored the affidavit wrote that Weekly was shot approximately 21 times, but the agent also cited a Cook County medical examiner's report that said Weekly was shot 16 times. 38 cartridge casings were found at the scene, including 1.357 caliber casing. Meanwhile, the Chrysler was then spotted on police cameras in 8 additional locations before surveillance video showed it returning to Parkway Gardens at 4:56 p.m. That video showed Liggins getting out of a passenger seat. According to the affidavit, the day after Weekly's killing, Chicago police found the Chrysler in the 2100 block of Gunderson and Berwyn and towed it. The document says, when it was searched August 13, 2020, investigators allegedly found a handwritten note that appeared to list Liggins' Facebook and Instagram accounts, as well as phone numbers for Liggins and BM, which the FBI took to mean baby mama. The FBI agent wrote that investigators also found a spent .357 caliber cartridge casing between the Chrysler's windshield and hood. An examination of that casing and the one found at the scene of Weekly's murder showed they were consistent with being fired from the same firearm. Police have previously said Weekly's shooting might have been motivated by derogatory statements toward deceased members of the Black Disciples made by Weekly on social media. The FBI affidavit points to multiple online videos, including a July 2020 YouTube rap video in which Weekly performed as FBG Duck. Said I wasn't going to diss the dead, and okay I did it, Weekly said. Then, the agent wrote, Weekly mentions, in a degrading manner, 9 names, aliases, and/or monikers of deceased individuals all believed to be black disciples. Among them was O.D. Perry, who was shot and killed in 2011 at age 20 and is the namesake for OBLOCK. According to the affidavit, Perry's killing had sparked a series of retaliatory shootings, including the 2014 murder of Gakira Barnes, who police say was a female gang assassin for a gangster disciples faction in the neighborhood. In a separate video posted the day after Weekly's murder, Davin Bennett, the rapper known as King Von, could be seen rapping OBLOCK, ODF, 300B, just check the stats, and said that he be throwing shots, I bet he catch them back. According to the affidavit, which said Bennett wore an OBLOCK medallion in the video, investigators took the verse as a reference to negative repercussions coming to Weekly as a result of Weekly's disrespect. In another video, the feds noted that Weekly had talked about being childhood friends with Shondale Tuka Gregory, who was shot and killed in 2011 at age 15. That's why I go so crazy when a motherf mentions his name, ya feel me, cause the motherfers don't know that like, this sh bigger than what the men saying in their songs, ya feel me, Weekly said. Liggins, 30, has a history of violent encounters with the police near Parkway Gardens. He was arrested in July 2019 for shoving a Chicago police officer near 64th and Martin Luther King. Officers had responded to a call of a person with a gun when a crowd formed and Liggins refused to leave, according to a police report. He pleaded guilty to resisting arrest and was sentenced to a year in prison.
Time has passed. After whiles of this case been sitting down for a little while, the police finally arrested another member, which was the 6th person involved in this case. They say a guy by the name of Teasy, THF Teasy, actually made a phone call while walking inside of a Montclair store. The police actually picked up that phone call. You know, the feds, they get kind of all these different resources. They claimed that he made a phone call and they picked it up and they heard him talking about FBG Duck and some gunmen on their way to come get him. This case is taking a crazy turn. I want to know from y'all, what do y'all think is going to happen with this case? Leave a comment. The police say Duck trial going to be next year. I asked you this, but I want to ask you this because his 2-year anniversary recently just came past. I think a lot of people downtown and shit to celebrate, you know, his energy, his name. I don't want this to come off 12-ish, you know, but I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this without being police, okay? And T, you know, I'm going to ask you this. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a real strong question, but if you can't answer this, what do you want the outcome to be? You're not for like the justice and the law shit.
Okay, y'all know. Listen to Free Dogs Part 1. Listen to Free Dogs Part 2.
I'll put this shit without sounding too police, without just throwing them boys on my bumper like that. I think about all type of shit, man. That's about how I can put that shit, man. There'd be all type of shit going on from due to music, due to the streets. Like, you don't know what shorty them in that bitch telling they ass either. They could be in that bitch connecting dots for them niggas, you see what I'm saying? You don't know, like, what shorty them ass can be in that bitch. Because, look, they got the RICO for that shit was made just for niggas to snitch. They made that shit for the mob. Because they weren't telling. And when they get a hold of you, you ain't have to do that shit. You had to know about that shit. So either way it go, that shit made for one of they has to fold. And it's not just 1, 2 of they, it's like a nickel. Chances are, at least one of they has to fold out of that 5. You see what I'm saying? Oh, God.
Then I'm like, young. I jumped out the bed. What the fuck he say? He like, no, not young. He like, Duck, boy. And I'm like, what the fuck? I fucked up. I'm told that shit fucked me up.